Pop quiz. The Miami Dolphins played a game today, and Tua Tagovailoa was their quarterback. On the other side, they were playing that football game against the New England Patriots, whose head coach is Bill Belichick. What was the result of that game? A Miami Dolphins victory, 31-17. Tua Tagovailoa now 6-0 against that rat bastard cheat. Bill Belichick hit the bricks, New England. Get to step in. The year has been swept. Mac Jones sucks, and enjoy the rest of your weather for the entire winter. See ya, dudes. Miami Dolphins getting it done today. Tua finishing the day with 324 yards in the air, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick that was very nice of Tua. You know, Tua and Mac Jones, they go way back, and he's just got to go over and look at Mac Jones' stupid face, and he's just got to think to himself, hey, buddy, you know, it's tough what you got going on right now, right? Why don't we spot you a couple? We'll spot you a couple, huh? We'll spot you a little head start. Isn't that nice? Like, you kind of do that to your little brother every now and then, right? Like, you want to make them feel good about themselves, make them think they got a chance. And so Tua's like, hey, I feel bad for my guy McCorkle. Why don't we spot him one here, all right? So you spot him a little picky pick. They get a 7-0 lead. Make it feel competitive, right? And then they're like, all right, cool. Tua bombed a Tyreek Hill. 42 yards, and we're off to the races, everybody. We are off to the races. And by the way, Jeff Wilson, no slouch on that drive either, as he was bringing some real forceful running. Miami Dolphins had a little bit of trouble getting that run game going, and Jeff Wilson was a big caveat into getting things going in that direction. Dude, today was also the debut, and what a debut it was, of number 5, Jalen Mother Bleepin' Ramsey, who looked, by the way, sweet as hell in those throwback uniforms. Do we even have to have the debate right now about should they wear those uniforms at all times? It's an obvious yes. But he looked unbelievable and comes right out of the gate, forces a fumble. Zeke Elliott gets it out of bounds. It was almost a scoop and score. Could have been an absolute disaster. But immediately, Jalen Ramsey let his impact be found. And then Bradley Chubb, he was bringing the heat on Mac Jones. Bradley Chubb continues to play absolutely fantastic. This defense, look, I know it's the Patriots, and McCorkle sucks, given. But this defense really has ratcheted things up. And when their offense actually hasn't put them in a bad position, they've been pretty nails right now. And that quarterback was dealing with a lot of heat today. Mac Jones was sacked 3 times. You know, he was nearly broken in half by Jalen Phillips near the end of that game. But what can you say, dude? This was an absolute throttling with this Miami team. And if it wasn't for those couple mistakes to make it even interesting, it could have been even worse for Miami. But after the Dolphins get the ball back, tied at 7, great stand by the defense. Tua, using the wheels, got himself a huge first down pickup on 4th and 4. And then you had one of the worst parts of the game, which was Robert Hunt getting hurt. And this offensive line is really banged up. Kendall Lamb got hurt at one point. He did come back. So that was a scary situation. But in the meanwhile of that, Tyreek Hill on a 4th down. Tua, he was going to Tyreek Hill every time he needed that play, a big-time conversion, and Tyreek Hill was coming up with the money play. So little screen pass to him, gets them the 1 yard they need. Then Tua and Tyreek tried to link up in the end zone. J.C. Jackson got called for a pass interference. And then finally, Tua gets in the end zone. He finds Cedric Wilson. The Dolphins go up a touchdown. Then the next time they get the ball back, Jalen Ramsey, yet again, picks him off. And, McCorkle's bewildered at this point. What is he supposed to do? He's sitting here. He's like, oh, my God, this Jalen Ramsey is making an impact all over the place. It was a hell of a debut for Jalen Ramsey. There's no doubt about that. The Dolphins would finish out the half with a field goal from Jason Sanders. Belichick was losing his mind. I'm guessing it was I'm not sure which penalty it was, but he was berating the referees, and that was it's never not fun to see Bill Belichick angry. I'm going to tell you that much. That will always be entertaining to me, no matter what. So you come out of halftime, and this was probably the most frustrating part of the game because Miami Dolphins come out, they try, Tua hands it off to Mostert, yaks it on the ground, and so you have another turnover. Even Zonk was upset. Zonk just goes out and he tweets, "Fundamentals!" I think that's what we should all just do anytime there's a mistake. Just like Larry Zonk could just be like, "Fundamentals!" Because, Raheem Mostert has been putting the ball on the ground a lot. He's had a handful of fumbles, and Tua's had some untimely picks. I mean, I guess there's never a time for a decent pick, but the turnovers, they resulted directly in 10 points for the New England Patriots. Really couldn't do anything on their own, so they turned this one into they turned that fumble into 3 points, and they get themselves to within a score. They get to 17-10. And then the Dolphins are like, as they usually do, when there's a big time big time mistake, they usually bounce back in a big way. Tua would find Tyreek Hill midfield. Then he had just an unbelievable play on third down. Steps up in the pocket. He finds Waddle for like 25 yardish. Waddle was great. I got to say, Jalen Waddle, people been waiting for that big breakout game, and you got it today from number 17. The Penguin was just absolutely tremendous. And Tua called it this week. He goes, a lot of people are sleeping on Jalen Waddle. Even when we were talking about and freaking out about, is Tyreek Hill going to play? He didn't, Tua, who, scared us all to death because he's like, oh, Tyreek Hill down the line somewhere. He said people are sleeping on Jalen Waddle. And Tua made sure people were awake today because he targeted his two top dogs today double-digit times. 7 catches for Jalen Waddle, 121 yards, and would cap things off with a touchdown. We'll get to that in just a bit because Stephen Ross is the most adorable old man penguin I've ever seen in my life. So that was a monster catch. And then a couple plays later, Chase Claypool got in on the action for his first Dolphins catch, a monster one for 15 yards. And so he was able to get in on the action to set the Dolphins up in a big, big way. So you get the big play to Chase Claypool. Then Tua finds Durham Smythe, gets him down to the 1. And then Raheem Mostert walks in untouched. Dolphins go up 2 scores. Pats get the ball back. Big thing on this drive. Deshaun Elliott, he absolutely lit up Devontae Parker. Knocked him out of the game. And, tough sight to see for the former Dolphin, but I mean, it was a clean hit, hell of a hit by the Dolphin safety. So, things kind of stall out there for a little bit. You had a sick game by Savon Ahmed. Bradley Chubb, he killed Mac Jones for another sack. The big dogs ate today. They always say the two between Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb, they call themselves the big dogs. Big dogs ate today. That's definitely the case. They both went out there and got some monster hits out on the quarterback. You had sacks from Phillips. You had a sack from Bradley Chubb, and Christian Wilkins got in on the action as well today, all bringing down McCorkle and making him pee his pants down his leg. So the Dolphins, they're up 24-10, and Tua, drive kind of stalls out. Tua scrambled. He lowered his head right into a Patriots linebacker. Tua, don't do that. There's no jiu-jitsu for that, dude. You can't put him in a Kimura lock in that position. So that was the only thing that was the only play that I was like, Tua, that was a really dumb decision. Don't do that again. I know, he's, feeling all swollen, proud of himself. Please don't lower your head in a run for anybody. There's no need to do that. Patriots then actually handled a drive by themselves, didn't need the help of the Dolphins, and they were able to, with about 8 minutes left, get themselves within a touchdown. Mac Jones to Juju Smith-Schuster to put themselves just down a score. And again, as the Dolphins have been doing, anytime they seem to have faced a big thing of adversity, this game's getting a little bit close, they absolutely took over. And the monster plays on the next drive where the Dolphins would put this one out of reach. Tua to Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill goes leaping up on a 3rd and 9, and the Dolphins were tremendous today on 3rd down and 3rd and longs. It really had Bill Belichick absolutely flustered and frustrated and pissed off. The Dolphins today were just able to find good play after good play, usually when it was a third and long situation. Mike McDaniel was also bold on going in for fourth down today. But this play to Tyreek Hill, that's why, the dude is not just a speedster. He's so tough. He's so athletic and such a pain in the ass. They just really trust him in all those tough catch scenarios. So he goes out there and the Dolphins get a huge catch from Tyreek Hill. Then a couple plays later, Raheem Mostert goes and runs it. And it looks like momentum is stopped, but the whistle didn't blow. But then, I guess they made a mistake and said it should have blown because the ball popped out again from Raheem Mostert. And I nearly had a heart attack because I couldn't have taken that. But either way, after that play, it was a 3rd and 1. Thankfully, they didn't let the fumble stand. And Tua just fakes the handoff. Beautiful pass over the middle to Jalen Waddle, who does his signature dance, has his signature game of the season. His best 2 games have come against the Patriots, who didn't up until this point allow a 100-yard receiver, and the Dolphins had 2 of them today. And they go to Stephen Ross. He gives his lady a smooch. He does the waddle, and everybody is just having a good time. Next drive, Mac Jones gets the ball back. He's down 2 scores. He's picked off nearly by Brandon Jones. Then Jalen Phillips nearly kills him. And then with 4th and 14, he just throws up an absolute duck. And Brandon Jones picks him off. But then Juju Smith-Schuster. So Brandon Jones only had 2 pickups on the same drive. Brandon Jones picks him off, but Juju Smith-Schuster lights his ass up. Then kind of stands over him. And the Dolphins did not like this at all from Juju. And nearly, it was more of a kerfuffle. I wouldn't call it a fight. But Juju Smith-Schuster ends up getting a unsportsmanlike conduct. The Dolphins get the ball back. Victory formation, 6-2. First place in the division, 2-0 against the Patriots. What can you say, dude? Huh? Things are rolling pretty good, and I know that they're not a good team, so I guess this only half counts in the standings to the haters. But in my book, because this isn't the BCS, the Dolphins find themselves at 6-2. Drop the Patriots to 2-6 on the year. Gonna have their entire fan base freaking out. And Tua Tagovailoa, this is a couple of stats thrown out here by Brett Bersheisen. That was an ice cream truck rolling down the neighborhood. Probably Mac Jones' future job. Anyway, Brett Bersheisen from the Dolphins PR department. He says, with a 31-yard touchdown pass to Jalen Waddle, Tua has now broken the franchise record for most passing yards in the first 8 games of the season. He's at 2,415. Dan Marino had the previous mark of 2,390. So there you go. And that was set in 1984. So yes, Dan was playing a different game than everybody else was back in the day. But record's a record, baby. And Tua Tagovailoa is putting up some pretty big numbers as the Dolphins are going to venture out onto Germany now for a big-time matchup. Bersheisen also says the Dolphins have now won 6 of the past 7 meetings with the New England. It's Miami's best 7-game stretch against them since going 6-1 from 1999 to 2002. Miami has won 4 straight home games against the Patriots. The last time that happened was 1998 to 2002, and that was 5 straight games. So, look, Tua is Bill Belichick's daddy, dude. I mean, he is. He should put him in the high chair, put the bib around him, put in some pureed food, and say, here comes the airplane, you curmudgeon bastard. By the way, you'll have to wait a little longer to catch Don Shula, if you ever do it at all, because it doesn't seem like when you have Tom Brady, you're able to do that, Bill. Anyway, what a tremendous game. What tremendous fun. Getting Tua with the 2 Ferraris out there, making things happen. It was a very, very exciting game with some dicey moments for sure. But ultimately, I don't think anybody ever felt like the Dolphins were ever in danger in this game. It really did very much feel like after going down 7-0, it was basically from the time they tied it felt like easy breezy. And anytime that there was a big time mistake, they have done it. They did a great job of bouncing back, making things happen. Monster debut for Jalen Ramsey. O-line injury is definitely a concern because they are getting very, very thin there. And seeing Jalen Waddle break out like that was absolutely, absolutely awesome. And also, just for good measure, Boston.